Hey guys, today we're back up. We are out here in the shop, and we are going to be building a gun cabinet. Um, Building this gun cabinet for a raffle for the local trap shooting team that I'm a part of at my high school. And I am starting from a gun like rack, you could say. Um, it's built of these pieces, and the guns sat horizontally, but I'm making a cabinet, so they're going to be sitting vertically. And I have very rudimentary tools. I might pull out my circular saw, my quarter circular saw, for a couple of things. I have an impact driver, I have a drill. A lot of the times for a saw, I'm going to be using this pruning saw because I don't have a real saw, or at least in this shop. I do in another shop. But I'm going to be working with a lot of rough lumber. Like, I have a lot of like construction grade pine that I'm going to be making a carcass out of, and I'll probably try to look around to try to find some maybe oak or some nicer woods to sheet it around it to make it look a bit nicer. But that's what I'm going to be doing. Hopefully I can make two. I have already started. Obviously you can see that I've disassembled the original one, but it was really simple. It just had a board, identical piece to this one, and then it had a board stretching across the top with this, I think, rabbet or rebat, you would call this, I think. And then it had two other shelves that went across with these, I think, dados or mortises, whatever you want to call them. I'm just gonna say a dado. But that was slitted or put into this one, and then there was a little hinge for a little door that really didn't work. But it was very simple construction, and I already tore it apart. But hopefully I can get a nice small gun cabinet with just three spots for three long guns. So I am measuring most of this off of an 18-inch gun because I'm going to make it tall enough so you can fit a longer gun in it, but short enough that 18-inch gun that will 18-inch barrel gun will be able to fit in the slot without just falling through. So you can fit longer rifles or shotguns, or shorter rifles and shotguns in it. So I have already begun on the other one, but I'm basically going to obviously get rid of all this nasty felt. I'll do something with that later on, maybe some rubber or maybe some different felt, some nicer felt. I don't really know. But basically, I'm cutting this off, and I'm cutting this off, and then using this where the guns are going to rest, and then build everything around it. So let's get to cutting, which I've already started. So continue cutting, I guess. So yeah. So here is the piece that I'm cutting off to complete this piece, like custom made. I'm using this pruning saw. I know it's not very great. If you didn't find out now, haven't found out yet, I know a bit about woodworking. I have done really no woodworking at all, so I am basically a beginner. I know some concepts and some terms, but that's basically it. I know some processes. But other than that, I do zero woodworking, so that will probably become apparent throughout this entire video or video series, maybe. Might become a video series, I don't know. But all I do know is that we need to get to work, so yeah. So I got this part done. This is what I'm going to basically be replicating for the other piece. Just literally just cutting it exactly like this. So yeah, this is my metalworking vise. I don't have a wood vise, and I don't have any soft gels for this. I'm going to be taking all this like varnish or hard wax. I don't know what kind of finish this is. Whatever it is, it's going to be coming off. later on down the road. So I'm not too afraid of the knurling, of the vice jaws hurting this any, because it's going to get completely sanded for either to be painted, which I'm not going to paint it, but some sort of varnish or hard wax or something, just not going to keep it like this. So all the scratches will get buffed out of it and everything. So that is the plan for that. So all I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to lay it right next to this. Or I'll take it out of the vise. So now I'm just going to overlap them because these are basically identical. I think this was made by someone, just the way it's constructed, and also the fact that I can align all of these up, and you can just see a couple of them aren't perfect. They're not completely round, they're not completely matched. So I'm just going to roughly line them up, and then scribe my lines with just a pen. And obviously, like I said, I'm no woodworker, so do not use me as like a reference to build things. If I get some terms wrong, there's an obvious reason why, because I don't know. So, combination square to further scribe my lines, like so. And then same thing on this side. And I've been thinking about doing this for a long time. I bought this gun stand many years ago, like 5-ish years ago. And in that time, I've actually gotten a real gun cabinet for all my guns, and I obtained more guns. So I didn't need this thing anymore. It sat out here in the garage for a long time. So, it went unused, and then, I just thought it would be a great idea to build this, and then give it away for the raffle for my trap shooting team. So, yeah. So, let's get to cutting once again. So there's one side down. I'm going to be keeping these bigger offcuts because even with those like dados or grooves cut in it, they can still be of use to me sometime later down the road. my cuts aren't super square. This one, you can tell that I, just tapered it down. And this one, I dished it out. But I have some ideas to get rid of this. To get rid of that. And I'm not too terribly worried about it. As long as I can find a way to mask it or get rid of it, I don't really care how I do it. So, on to some other parts that need to be cut. So yeah. Okay, so this is the board that I'm going to be working with. I think it's pressure treated or some treated because it has like a green tinge, so I assume that's probably treated. I think this was a piece of wood that was left over from my grandma's deck, I think, that she got built for. I think this is where it came from, but I can't quite remember. It's been a while since I have obtained it, but hopefully this is the pieces that I'm going to be building, making the height out of, to make it as tall as I want it. I measured my steel one inside at, I think, 53, 55. I think I'm going to try to keep that, like go off the dimensions of that, maybe go a touch higher, maybe round up to 60. Maybe, I don't know, I'll have to see how much wood I have here, but for this, because I don't want to waste it, and it's a big board, I will be using my circular saw to at least cross cut it. I might do some ripping on this. I don't know how that's going to work because I've never ripped something, especially with a circular saw. A table saw and a miter saw would help for this, but I don't have those tools. So, number one, I just want to make this video because it's something cool that I want to do, and it's a project, but also to probably show that a novice like me who's using a pruning saw to cut their lumber can make a more advanced project like a gun cabinet. But that's more of a poetic reason. As long as I can get one of these out of this, I don't think I will, but maybe I can rip it down. Let's see. So I'm just comparing this to it. I'll show you. So I'm just setting it up against like this, and I think I could get myself to go halfway with this. This is, I'll use the combination square. This is never mind. I'll just use a tape measure. I don't know why I even tried to use the square. This is 7 3/8, so it's 1 by 8, 1 inch by 8 inch, or basically 1-ish by 8 3/8, or I mean 7.5 or 7 3/8, like the tape measure said. It's 7 3/8, so I think I could rip this down, because this piece is 4 3/4. So I think I could rip this down, or rip an edge off of this, rip a tiny little strip down this, to make it match. I think I might do that. Really, I'm just gonna mess around with this, fiddle around with it, and see what happens, because just see what the process takes me. I'm going to be obviously not just winging it and not measuring, because this is all the material I have, and I really don't want to go out and buy it because I still have to buy glass and stuff for this. So My budget is very small for this. I don't want to put a lot of money into this. I have lumber and I have a lot of time, but I don't have a lot of money. So that is my main idea of this project. So I'm gonna dig out the circular saw and lay out some lines and stuff, and we'll get to cutting. So yeah. Okay, so I don't really have I do have a workbench or work table, whatever you want to call it. I don't have a lot of room in there, and I don't want to get the sawdust up in the air because I do a lot of metal working in there, especially forging and grinding, and that's just a fire hazard, and I really don't want to burn down my house or my shop or anything for that matter. So I'm going to be using my the bed of my truck. I'm going to pull a board off. It's a big, I think 8x8, and I'm going to put it along the top of this board. It does have a bit of a warp to it, but it shouldn't hurt us for this. So I can rip it down, but I'm going to be using this, and I'll just show you what I'm going to do, but I am working off of this. Okay, so I have my measurement tools, my marking tool, have my C-clamps for this board that I'm going to use for my straight edge. I was going to pull down the huge 8x8, but I decided not to. Have my PPE, and of course have the circular saw. It is, I don't know, the brand's worn away. But, so that's my plan anyways, is to mark out where my lines are going to be, and how long and how big I want these pieces to be. And then I'll use this as a straight edge for the ripping. I probably won't use a straight edge for the cross cutting because it'll be simple enough. So that is the plan. So let's get started. All right. So I'm going to take my long measurement and see where I want this line to land. So 55 is right here, and 60 is right here, and I know I'm not gonna have enough down here to cut this in half and make two. So I'm gonna mark it at 60 so I can get as much length as I possibly can. How much is this? This is basically 37 on this side. So I think I'm going to make this, wait, it's 3 foot, it's 36. So this end is 3 foot, and this side is 60 inches. So I think I'm gonna do that, go with that, and I'm going to just cut this regularly with no straight edge on it. So I'm gonna get this maneuvered around inside the bed of the truck so I can just zip it off. So that's the plan. So let's get to it. So I obviously got this all maneuvered around. Got our line right here. We're gonna cross cut it just as normal. Not gonna put any straight edge on here, even though I should. But number one, before I get my PPE on and everything, I apologize for any birds, any wind, or any cars going by that are messing, that are just annoying. It's just, I apologize for that. I wish I didn't have to say that, because there's a million people driving by. It's a little windy out, and there's some stupid birds out. I apologize, but it's just gonna have to be. So yeah. So I think I'm gonna leave the glasses off because I want to see. Those ones they are scratched up, so I'm at least gonna put these on because I want to at least keep my hearing. So we're gonna get to it. Obviously, if you can see, this circular saw has not been used, at least by me, in a million years. You can see all the dust and everything that has accumulated on it, but it still runs. So we're gonna get to ripping and slice this bad boy off. So let's get to ripping and gripping. So I wasn't too happy. It's probably dull. I know this is no longer square anymore. I just know it. It's not a square cut. I know I should have used a straight edge, but we're not too bad. I'm just gonna do a quick measurement on it to see what it's at. 60 there, and roughly 60, and it's about 60 1/8 on this very edge back here. But I'm not too concerned. I'm trying to make something nice, but we are not building a rocket ship. So yeah. Now we're going to lay out our rip. So it is 7 3/8. So, or no, 7 1/4. So 7 inches. That's 4 1/2. Wait. No. That's not 4 1/2. It's 3 1/2. Then plus an 1/8. That's 3 5/8. So I'm gonna check it on both sides. 3 5/8. 3 5/8. So now I'm going to put it on either end at that measurement, 3 5/8. 3 5/8. So now I'll use my square, and I'm going to get, I'll do at least this line. I'm gonna do just this one. So three 5/8. I'll put just a touch on this one. Just do a little bit, just so I have a little bit to line up our straight edge. And I threw it down here while we were doing that cross cut. So I'm gonna line it up like so. I'm gonna use my C-clamp and clamp it down. I know I'm off camera, I apologize. And I'm gonna just set the saw down and just mess around with it until I get it where it's gonna be ripping pretty evenly. So I'm going to just cut, and I'll show you what I cut with. Okay, so this whole setup I think is getting continually more sketchy, but as long as we get it done, it works. So I've been doing a lot of talking in this video. I think that's enough. So I am just gonna get to work and get this cut. It's still going pretty well so far. So we are just gonna keep trucking along. Obviously stay safe and get this job done. So let's just keep going. Oops. we're done. Okay, so I'm gonna get all this cleaned up. We'll take the boards inside, and we'll get to continuing to work and plan all this out. Okay? Okay. So we have these cut, and for our very sketchy setup, they're very close to each other. They're very close to being perfectly ripped in half. So, I think I'm just going to work with this one. I'll build the second one off camera, so I'm going to leave this just over there off to the side. I'm going to be working with this one because I have all the felt ripped out of it. So, these are our pieces. And this will go in between here, and it's not too bad. It's really not too terrible. So this is what we're going to be going with. So I'm going to get this all mocked up. I have some squares, I have some fabrication squares, and I'll just clamp them to these so I can get a sense, an idea of what all is going on. So I guess I'm going to get started with that. Okay, so I'm going to get one side mocked up because I only have enough clamps to do one side. So I'm just going to go with this board. And I'm just going to, no, I don't have enough room to do that. But I'm just going to play with it, play around with how I want this to be. I have some guns over there that I'm going to use as a reference, or I'll use this BB gun or pellet gun to use as a reference. I think I like that already. Like that as a reference. So I'm just going to mess around with this until I get something that I like. So I'm just going to leave the camera recording and figure it out. So yeah. Okay, so I figured out what I would like to do, and I'm going to put this piece right in between there. I think like right there-ish by this rough line. And this line down here, I'm going to use for where the butt is going to be, where the stock is going to set. So I think it's about time to get this all squared up and then screwed in. I am going to use wood glue. That is one of the things I'm going to have to buy. But until I have wood glue, I'm just going to screw the parts in. I might reuse some of the screws, these little brass screws that came out of the original one. I think these will work fairly decent for what we're doing. The screws I'm going to be using are these 2-inch screws, these 2-inch galvanized screws. I know they're not built for this, like furniture style woodworking and stuff, but that's what I'm going to be using. That's what I have, so I'm going to use it. So yeah. There's a screw up there that I need to go pick up, so I'll be back really quick. There was a screw out in the driveway, so I just picked it up because I don't want to run over it, nor do I want my mom or my brother to run over it. So I have a bit right here, and I'm just gonna shove it into the drill. And I'm gonna try it. I'm going to drill into my table first and see if this drill bit is going to be too big. And it's not going to be too big, so we're going to use it. So what I'm going to do, I bet probably a million people have done this before. So I'm just going to line it up where I want it. And I'm going to mark it where I want it. And so I want a screw like here-ish and there-ish. Yep. The screw's there. And I'm going to go get my square and scribe those really quick. Got my square, so now I'm just going to simply make these lines actually parallel or perpendicular to the edge of the board that I actually want it to be, like so, and I'll just roughly eyeball those where I would like them. So now, I'm just gonna just color those lines in darker. So now, I'm going to use the drill and make a pilot hole. I don't want to split any of this wood, so that's why I'm pilot drilling it. So now I'm going to set this up and I'm going to use those holes that I just drilled for a guide. I don't know if people have already done that before in woodworking. I bet someone has, but I'm doing it now. So, and this is the Fireball Tool 4-inch aluminum monster square. I really love this. Just fit and finish is lovely. Lovely tool, even no matter what you're doing with it. Obviously, because I am using it the wrong way, or the way that it's not supposed to be. And I'm gonna clamp this in my vise, so I'm not trying to balance it. There you go. Now we can better do this. Just spin that down a little bit. Get some chin action in. You know what? I'm just gonna deal with it. There this is the aluminum 4-inch, or the smallest magic square from Fireball Tools. Really love this guy too as well. And we are going to use this just to see if it's 90. And now I'll use this square, and it is not 90. Or I don't think so anyways. It's not. So I'm just going to bring that down. So now we can check if it's 90. Heck, I'll even use this one. My combination square. I'll use this to make sure that it is somewhat square. It's not going to be perfect. I'm not expecting it to be perfect. I'm going to quick take this out. And I'm just going to use the combination square, the teeny tiny little bubble level. I don't know where my other level went. I think it's somewhere in the house. And I think that just slid. Yeah, it did. So we're going to have to just keep messing around with this until it's to where I like it. It's to the point where I like it. So this side pretty square. This side not square, but I bet it's probably the material that is not helping it one bit, the material that it was previously made of. So obviously this isn't going to be a perfect level because the board isn't cut straight or anything. So I don't know why I even checked that, but I'm gonna drill into it now. So now gonna switch tools because I only have one battery to my impact, and I'm going to go get my tape measure really quick. So now I'm going to check this, see this is at. So this is 18 and a tick above 3/8. And this is slightly above, but for like a 16th off. But I can live with that. I can live with that. Like I said, we're not making a spaceship or a rocket, so I can completely live with what we have. I think that hole was a little too big, so I'll just have to not drill it as deep next time. So I think that's what it's gonna be. But I think I'll take this little screw, this itty bitty little screw, and I'll just drill a little bit into the tiniest little bit into the into it. So now this screw can go further in. Screwdriver. There's the screwdriver. And I'm just going to clamp this up just so I can hold it a bit better. And I'll just put this up to it just to keep it somewhat square. And it probably would have helped with the squareness if my this was cut a bit better for me, but I didn't cut it better. So that is probably one thing that is not helping with just all of this. But it'll be okay. And I'm going to take this screw out because there's not enough. It's not countersunk enough for it to bite into this wood, this piece. I wouldn't have to do this if I had just not drilled those holes deeper. But I'm just going to take that small bit out, and I'm going to put this big 3/8, not 3/4, in, and I'm going to put a nice heavy chamfer on that. So hopefully that will do it for this. And obviously, like I said, this is just like a dry fit because I will be using glue, or I do have some epoxy, but I don't want to mess with that because unfortunately, for how nice the day is today, it is still cold where I live. So I don't want to go messing around with epoxies because I know that is going to be a disaster if I try to glue these together, especially for how cold it is. And I don't need this very soon, but I'd like to get it done now so I don't have to scramble to do it. And I really let that bite. So I don't have to scramble when it comes time for this raffle, which is in June. And this is being recorded in February. I don't know why I just jumped at that. But this is being recorded in February. So I have quite a bit of time to get these done. But I don't want to have to scramble when I have the opportunity today, because it's a nice day out, to get them done. To get at least this one done, or get most of it done. Dry fitted at least. I'll probably have to add some like gussets. That's just what I know them in the metalworking world. It's basically just like a little triangle that is put right there and then screwed or like welded in what I know. And then it can be, it adds more strength to something that otherwise would not have very much strength. So since I chewed up this screw, I'm going to use a different one because I had a lot of them in that. So I'll just use this one instead, so it can be a bit nicer. That's a bit stronger. I'll try to drive those screws in a bit better. That's what happens when you have a bunch of steel and grinding particles on your workbench. There, that's a bit stronger now because I drove that one in a bit deeper. So here we are right now, and that's looking pretty good. It's not going to be a huge gun cabinet. That's what I'm going for. I don't want it to be super huge because it's going to only fit 3 guns. But I'm going to do the other side off camera because it's basically going to be the same thing. So I'm just going to get to doing that. Okay, so here it is now. It's looking pretty good the way it is now. This is already a super, super long video. But it's looking pretty good. I think I am going to have to add some gussets or something. I think since these are going to be on the inside, either I'll make a veneer or I think I might stain it, like burn it with my torch and then stain it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. All I know is that it's super wobbly. It can't really stand up. So what I'm going to do is I have a massive 8x8 up in the ceiling, and I'm going to try to cut it and put that on the bottom because I have no idea what I could do with that 8x8 other than make an anvil stand. But I already have an anvil stand, and I have a bunch of I have 2 big stumps, so I'm covered with that. And if I know myself, I'm just going to keep it and keep it and keep it until I die. So I'm going to get that thing down, attempt to cut it. I'll probably take as heavy of a cut with the circular saw deep, and then I'll probably have to finish it off with the pruning saw or some sort of saw. And then we'll just hammer some screws straight in the bottom of this, so it can be really heavy, really strong. So that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah. So this is the 8x8 that we have that I'm gonna use. It's super big, super heavy, and I got a lot of stuff in the way. So I gotta move all this stuff so I don't crush myself taking this 8x8 down. I'm pretty sure it's an 8x8. No, it's not an 8x8. It's a 6x6. Sorry, I apologize. This is a 4x4. Just a little cut off of a 4x4 that I have. That big guy is a 6x6. I apologize. I don't know how to do math or read or do anything. So this is going to potentially, more than likely, get very dangerous, but we're just going to go ahead and do it. That wasn't too bad, as I thought it would be. But that doesn't stop this thing from being heavy as heck. And awkward to move. So, it is supposed to be 16 inches wide. Oops. That thing is 16 inches wide, so that means this needs to be 16 inches long. So 16, and I forgot the square, so I'm just gonna get that. So get my square. We'll see how big this guy is. So this measures out to be 5 3/8, nearly 5 1/2. Gonna double check. So my plan is to try to get rid of the line, sort of. So to cut on this side and eliminate the line. That's the plan. Don't know if that's gonna work. I don't think I'm just gonna mark all of my edges now while I'm here. So line it up to the previous line. So I'm just gonna check this side, 16, and I'm gonna check this side, 16, and I trust the bottom that I marked correctly. Alright, so here it is. Here is the block. Let's push this forward a bit more. Here it is. We are not hitting where the buttstocks are going to be resting, so we're completely fine where we're at. So I'm going to swap the batteries, and we are going to get going. But first, I'm going to make sure that this is square. I'm just going to use the rest of this big 6x6 as my flat surface for this. It's not going to be perfect. I'm not asking it to be perfect, but it will certainly help what we're doing. So, bang a screw in. That'll be okay. Gonna quick do this side. Bang the screw in. Make sure it's still where we want it. So there, got that all good and done. So now, put the rest, these other two in to help it. Once again, I apologize. I live next to a very busy road. So I apologize, as I said, for all the noise from the cars and the semis. So now, hopefully, we can stand this up now. Okay, so I think I'm going to utilize this piece, this offcut from this piece, and I think I'm going to do this, like do a wraparound with it. I think I might have enough material to just cut this and then put it on the front. I think I might have enough material for that. Let me go look. So this is 17.5, and this is 18, basically 18.5, so 17.5. So I have enough room to cut this, so I can get a panel right there and then a panel up front, and I think that's what I'm going to do for that. Or maybe I could leave this front. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do. I think, because I think this could, I don't know. I don't know what exactly I want to do, so so a lot of this process is going to be basically the same, just cutting lumber with a circular saw and then banging screws into it. So I think I'm going to cut the camera and just work on it, and then I'll show you what all I've got to show. So, and I'll tell you what all I did. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm not just wasting time and flailing around. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So, yeah. Okay. Move the drill, move our driver, move that. Now let's stand it up. There. Check just by eye. See if it's pretty level. Really stiffened it up. I'll probably put a couple more screws in the bottom. I'm just gonna flip it over, see how it looks on the bottom. And it's pretty good. I think I'm gonna lower this down really quick, because I'm just gonna lower it down. I'm gonna lay it down because that's not working too well, trying to do it standing up. Okay, so now we're pretty flush. Not completely perfect, but it should feel a bit better. Yeah, I feel more confident with that. Gonna look at it really quick with my eye. Yep. Looks super nice. It's coming along very well. Very, very well. I'm very happy with this. I think the video has gotten super, super long. So I think I'm gonna leave it till next time. Leave it off where we are right now. I think this is probably gonna be like a 30-minute video. Hopefully, it won't take 3 parts. It feels super solid right now. Hopefully, this video won't take 3 parts. Hopefully, I can get it done in the next part for next time. So, yeah, that's really all I have to say. So, till next time, see ya.